Hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. Hey, happy holidays to everybody out there. I hope you guys are having a great holiday season. We're enjoying it. We've got our kids and everybody, and of course Gigi is in seventh heaven because she got all her favorite people around her. Anyway, I wanted to do a quick video today to go over some of the pitfalls that we've seen happen when people go to do the act to then purchase their property. There's a few things that you could easily avoid. Unfortunately, the problem usually comes after the solution. So what I'm going to do is back it up. I'm going to give you the problem that we've seen and the solution that should have come beforehand. There's always a workaround when there is a problem, and at any point during the act or whatever, if there's something you don't understand, something doesn't look right, you can stop and clarify. In fact, I would stop and clarify because you don't want to end up with something different than what you think. Now, the first thing that I want to go over, which is the problem, so we have problem and solution. The problem is there's something with the title that you are not aware of. Now, this can happen in Italy because they don't have title companies. They do have the notaio, and he does his checks, and that's great. Things can be missed. Things maybe don't go back far enough. So there's a few things that you really need to be aware of. For example, let's say that your property that you're buying was an active possession, like it was an abandoned property, somebody took it over, they overtly used it, they maybe renovated it, or just basically had it be useful as a piece of property, and they did that for 20 years. Well, then that becomes their property, but there are issues with that and it can be contested. So it's very important that you know how much risk, if any, you have in that particular circumstance. So that's something you want to look at. Another thing is succession. Sometimes succession is not clear. Like, for example, what we've seen a lot in Calabria is somebody receives a house from their aunt, but they don't go do a deed. There's just a letter going, here, this is my house, and it's for you. That's not a deed, and it would make me very, very nervous. So always go to a notaio, always have it recorded, always do that sort of thing so that you have a legal deed in your hands. And the succession in your deed should tell you where the people that are selling the house to you got it. Did they get it from inheritance? You can actually go check the records and find that. All the information is there in the deed. So that's really important because you don't want to end up with something that could really easily be contested. Another thing is many times there's multiple owners. Like, you know, somebody wants to sell you their house and their brother owns half of it. When you don't know that, you think you're buying a whole house, you might buy half of it. So those are things you really need to keep your eye on. And that sort of ties in with my next point is the problem is sometimes that people get a property and they go through the act and they do it, but then they find out that the magazzino or a certain room or the parking space or the terrace or garden does not come with it. A few videos ago, I talked about the importance of really looking over the floor plans when you're in signing the act. Because when you sign those floor plans, that's saying, yes, I agree that this is the property in question that I am buying. If there's no garden in the floor plans, there's no garden that you own. So my suggestion to you, especially if you have a power of attorney, is get the floor plans beforehand. And then when you're at the act, look and see if they match. If there's any discrepancy, stop everything and say, I want to know what this is. You have that right. And in fact, it's your duty to do that. Another thing is if you have a power of attorney and you're a little squidgy about it, what I would do is have them send you a copy of the act beforehand and go over it so that you know exactly what your power of attorney is signing for you. That's something I highly recommend. And if you have questions, your agent or your power of attorney should be able to answer them pretty readily. If they don't get answered, don't do it. Okay, another problem that we ran into recently is they said things come with the house, and guess what? They walked in and the house was all cleared out. Even the stove that was supposed to provide heat, which I think we could contest, but factually, what you get when you purchase a property in Italy is you get the space in between the walls, you get the ceilings, you get whatever is just basically the shell. They're not promising fixtures. They're not promising kitchens. Kitchens do not come along with the property many, many times. They're considered furniture. Any of the furniture is not promised. And even if you get a gentleman's agreement, that's not super binding. So what you can do, and this is something that Nick recommends, Nick Metta, Studio Legale Metta, is put them all in the compromesso, list them out, get pictures, and then put them in the act as well. You need them both places. And that's very good advice from Nick because you could be paying a little extra to have the bedroom furniture, which is a beautiful antique, and they could swap out something else. Not saying that people do that a lot or generally, but it could happen. So when you're doing these kinds of things, you really want to make sure that you are prepared and that you are protected. The best way to do that, of course, is to take our course, and the details are down below. We go through all kinds of stuff, And there's other videos on this channel. Now, caveat, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a real estate agent, I'm not a broker. So there you go. This is just what we've observed and the things that I can tell you to watch out for and some friendly advice. So anyway, have a great Christmas, you guys. See you soon.